everyone, welcome back to my channel. Okay, I've been putting off filming this video for the past 4 hours because I've been trying to research online a little bit about the history of the Mitsuyoshi brand so that I can give you guys a little bit of a Japanese history lesson mixed in with my makeup haul type of content. But there's a couple of conflicting accounts out there about exactly what year Mitsuyoshi was established and all of that. The English and Japanese information that I found didn't match up at all, and it's been driving me crazy, but you know what? I cannot put this off any longer. I'm just going to go with what I was able to glean from their official website, which, to be honest, I don't have time to scan and translate their entire, company history and timeline, but I will just give you guys some of the major points. So basically, if you weren't already aware, Mitsuyoshi is a very long-standing, established cosmetics brand in Japan that specializes in theatrical makeup. According to their website, the Mitsuyoshi Cosmetics Company was established officially in 1846. Just to give you a reference, probably the most analogous brand or company that you could compare Mitsuyoshi to in the West would be Ben Nye Cosmetics. Now, Ben Nye was established in 1967 and Mitsuyoshi in 1946. So Mitsuyoshi is about 20 years more OG than Ben Nye. I mean, to be honest, I think they're better too. Mitsuyoshi products have long been used for pretty much every single type of theatrical performance or stage art that you can imagine in Japan. Kabuki, Buto dance, actual geishas, and even extending to the more modern day mediums of film and television broadcasting, as well as cosplay and visual kei. Anyone who works in those areas in Japan is probably very well acquainted with this brand, which is why I find it a shame and also kind of strange that Mitsuyoshi is not really well known or talked about at all outside of Japan. One of my friends here on YouTube, Amaya Cosplay and Makeup, who you should all subscribe to, support small Asian content creators, thank you very much. She let me know that she actually has a recollection of seeing a Mitsuyoshi store open in Taiwan when she was younger. So I don't know if that was a one-off thing or if the brand still maintains a presence there in Taiwan. And I'm not sure about their activities in other parts of Asia or Southeast Asia, but from what I can see, at least in the West, it's virtually unheard of, especially compared to the really famous, internationally sought after Japanese heritage brands, I guess you could say, such as Hakuhodo, Chikuhodo, Shakuda, and whatnot. It might be a conscious choice on the part of Mitsuyoshi. Again, I don't know how up-to-date exactly their website is, but if you look at their company profile information at the current time, it states that they only have about 50 employees within the whole company. So for whatever reason, I'm assuming that it's a conscious corporate decision. For whatever reason, they've decided to keep their brand contained, I guess, despite being, in my opinion, extremely underrated and a hidden gem, honestly, especially if you compare the prices that they charge to some of these more global, internationally renowned brands. I think another contributing factor could be that brands such as Hakuhodo and Koyudo, whatever, specialize in brush production only, whereas Mitsuyoshi has a very large catalog spanning all types of makeup products as well as tools. So maybe that also makes it easier for people to overlook their high-quality brushes. Before you click off, let me just hurry up and show you what I purchased. This is what the Mitsuyoshi logo looks like. They only have a handful of stores throughout Tokyo. I only go to the store in Shinjuku Station. It's in an underground mall called Subnad. I'm sorry if this video inspires FOMO in people who are not in Japan and therefore not really able to get their hands on Mitsuyoshi brushes or products. I'm gonna focus mainly on their brushes in this video, but just so you know, they do have an entire fully fleshed out line of professional stage makeup. Probably their most viral product, I guess you could call it, is their Face Cake foundation. It's one of their more widely reviewed and praised products on the internet. I've actually never tried that foundation personally. I might do it sometime in the future, but for today we're going to focus on their makeup brushes, which I have been a huge fan of for the past 7 years. So I purchased 4 brushes in total this time, an angled brush and 3 flat shader type eyeshadow brushes. I will cut to a closer shot and talk about these all more in depth, as well as some of my older Mitsuyoshi brushes in a second. But first, I also wanted to show you that I purchased 2 of the Mitsuyoshi liquid eyeliners. This is called Stage Liner, and I got it in white and bright red. Super excited to try these out, not in this video, but you all know how impossible it is to find an opaque white liquid eyeliner as well as a bright red in the drugstore. And these were only 800 yen plus tax too. So it's like, honestly, why do I even bother with drugstore or high-end sometimes? Can you imagine NARS or someone putting out a brightly colored liquid eyeliner? They would have no problem charging upwards of 3,000 yen per tube. And yet Mitsuyoshi keeps it so modest with all of their price points. Like, my entire order, the 4 brushes plus these 2 eyeliners, came to under 10,000 yen. I think I kept the receipt actually. Yeah, so you see there, my total including tax came to only 9,350 yen. And this is all just their regular pricing, full price. I don't think Mitsuyoshi ever does sales even, not to my knowledge. But yeah, you're gonna see in just a second just how much of a steal this is. Personally, I'm baffled as to how and why they keep their prices so low, but let's not give them any ideas, okay? Keep it hush-hush. Alright, so first up is my oldest brush, which I purchased around 5 years ago, 2015-ish. Sorry, I don't remember the exact date, but this is the 2S with the red lacquer handle, and it is just a classic pointed pencil brush. Notice how there's virtually no wear and tear whatsoever, save for the tiny little bottom of the S on the 2S printing. I mean, the lacquer is still immaculate, the wood has not cracked, the bristles themselves, they still hold the pointy shape. And mind you, I am not particularly careful or delicate when I handle my brushes, especially when I clean them. I'm pretty rough, to be honest, which I should probably work on, at least when it comes to my nicer brushes. But anyway, I want you to see my old 2S brush laid side by side with my newer 2S brush purchased earlier this year, as well as the 2SM, which is the exact same brush shape. It's just the handle is different. It's a matte black handle instead of a red lacquer handle. The only difference between the red and black handle is the length. And so for me personally, I prefer a longer brush, which is why this time around I only purchased black handles. I do love the red lacquer aesthetic, but I just really don't like a short brush. Actually, application-wise, it's fine, but my problem that I tend to run into is with storage. The containers that I use to store most of my brushes always end up being just a tad too tall for shorter brushes like this, and I find that they tend to get buried and sometimes smushed underneath the taller brushes in my collection, which can result in a permanently warped or damaged brush shape. So I like to just avoid that altogether by buying longer brushes. But yeah, so essentially I have 3 of the exact same brush, and I would buy a bunch more if I could. This pencil brush is just indispensable for so many purposes. Blending out the outer V, adding an inner corner highlight, even adding a brow bone highlight. So versatile and perfect for precision work. It's super soft and not scratchy at all either. Alright, so next we have the 1BM angled brush. This is my absolute holy grail for powdered eyebrow application. It is hands down the best angled brush that I've ever found in life. It has the perfect balance of firmness in construction but softness in bristles. So apparently it's made out of water badger hair, which is the first time I've ever heard of that animal, let alone its fur being used for makeup brushes. But yeah, I mean, that's gotta be the secret ingredient, because every single other angled brush I've tried in my life has always had something wrong with it. Either the bristles are too stiff, or they're too flimsy, or the angle of the cut is just not quite right. This is the only brush that gets it 100% correct in every area. It's absolute perfection, which is why I just had to go out and buy a duplicate. The one on the top I reserve exclusively for eyebrow use, but I wanted an extra to have the option to use it for eyeshadow work as well, or cream eyeliner or whatever. I figure if I can count on this brush to fleek my eyebrows to the gods every single time, then I can also count on it for other eye-related work, you know? And last but not least, these are my newly purchased 3 flat paddle type eyeshadow brushes. From top to bottom, we have the Pro 130, the 4SM, and the Pro 128. As you can see, they are all pretty much the same shape, except just differing in size. I see on Shu Uemura's Instagram page that the makeup artists will often use this type of a brush as opposed to a traditional like fluffy packer brush when working specifically with monolids or flatter type Asian eyelids in general. So I thought, of course, that makes total sense. If you have a flatter brush, it's going to do a better job of hugging your eyelid, and that could really help out us Asian girls who don't necessarily have that deep groove in the back of our eye socket, you know? So when I saw how much Shu Uemura was charging for their brushes, I sprinted, not ran, over to Mitsuyoshi, okay? So I hope that was helpful as sort of an introduction to the best kept secret of Mitsuyoshi brushes. If you are a brush enthusiast and you ever find yourself in Japan, I really do urge you to check them out. Do not shell out unnecessary amounts of cash for Hakuhodo. Unless you just got it like that, then by all means go to town. But yeah, like with Mitsuyoshi, you're basically getting the same artisan quality, if not higher, for just a couple hundred yen more than the grade of brushes that are typically sold at the drugstore. In fact, I've seen some drugstore brushes that are priced higher than Mitsuyoshi brushes for whatever reason. Crazy talk, I tell you, crazy. Okay, well that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next time. Bye! Can someone make me brushes out of Maxine's hair though? Like, for real though.